It's me, Matt, here with Hoffman Academy to teach you an easy arrangement of the Super Mario Bros. Overworld theme. Let's get playing. You'll notice right off the bat that this song is in 4/4 time. We're going to be using a lot of eighth notes and eighth note rests, which will make the rhythm a little more complicated, but that's okay. We're going to count through it and make sure that we know exactly where each note is placed. As for position, we're going to use two positions mainly. Some people refer to these positions as butterfly positions because our thumbs are going to be right next to each other rather than playing the same notes at the same time. For this first position, I'm going to put my right hand in a C major pentascale with my thumb on C and my pinky on G. And my left hand will be right below it with my thumb on the B below my right hand C, extending all the way down to an E in my left pinky. For the second position of the song, you'll notice that it's another butterfly position, just one note higher than the first one, with our right hand still on white notes, but starting on D, going up to A, and our left hand with our thumb on C and our pinky on F. Let's start at the beginning in our first position, with our right hand thumb on C and our left hand thumb on B. Let me play the section for you first, and then we'll dive into it. In our right hand, we're using the notes of a C major arpeggio, Do, Mi, and So. For this first rhythm, I'm going to count it like this. Instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That way, I can feel where the eighth notes are supposed to land. This one's going to land on 1 and 2 and. I'm going to repeat the section a few times so that you can really feel that eighth note rest on beat 2. 1 and 2 and. Take it nice and slow and repeat it over and over again until the rhythm is nice and smooth, taking it from a slow tempo like this, 1 and 2 and, to how it's felt in the song. 2 fast notes, a short break, and then the same note again. With these first 3 notes, rhythm is key, so it's important to get lots of repetition-based practice in. Make sure that you play and say the rhythm out loud to yourself, either through T, T, rest, T, or through counting. 1 and 2 and. Repeat this several times on your own until you have the rhythm nice and smooth and can play it without pausing. Go ahead, give it a try. I'm going to add 2 more notes to this pattern. Here's how the counting for this works. We're going to say beat 3, but not play anything, just like we did for beat 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If we can get this rhythm, then the rest of the song won't be so hard. This is probably the hardest syncopated rhythm that we have in the entire song. Syncopation is when we have rhythms that don't line up with the beat in a natural way. Typically, this will look like rhythms landing on off beats or landing on down beats, but then maybe immediately landing on off beats after or before. The rhythm will feel off-kilter or unresolved. I'm going to play the entire first measure now of this song with counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You probably noticed that I didn't play any notes on count 2 and 3. You could even say it out loud like this. 1 and rest and rest and 4. Whatever helps you not play any notes on beat 2 and 3. That's the key to getting this sort of off-kilter rhythm. Listen to it one more time without counting. Here's with counting again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If you have trouble with this rhythm, go back to the first part where we just covered the first half of the rhythm, where we were only playing 3 notes. 1 and 2 and. The next measure is much more simple. We're going to start with our right hand G and our pinky, rest for a quarter note, and then play our left hand G on count 3, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that we have the first 2 measures learned, let's put them together. Because the first measure is so much faster, it's a good idea to count through both measures so that you really feel how long that rest in the second measure is. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Count with me this time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If it helps you to keep counting the subdivisions, the and counts, feel free to do so. That won't change how you play the song. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's take a look at the next measure. I'm going to play it for you once and then we'll dive into it. Sounds simple, right? The rhythm here is tricky again because we have a note that lands in between our beats again. Here it is with counting so that you can hear it very clearly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. This middle note's going to land in between count 2 and 3 on the and count of 2. Let me clap it for you once. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Here it is again with counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Because the middle note's so tricky, it's a good idea to just play the first two notes a few times in a row and then add the third one in when you feel really comfortable, like this. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. Go ahead, practice that on your own for a little bit. Let's add in that final note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We'll loop this a few times in a row. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Let's dig into the next measure. There's going to be some tricky rhythms, but before we dig into those, let's look at the very last note of this measure. We have a flat, which means instead of playing A, we'll be playing A flat, the note directly below it, with our third finger, as is marked. Here are the three notes we'll be using. A, B, A, and then with our third finger, A flat. The rhythms are mostly going to land in between the beats again, just like we've been seeing previously in the song. Here's how it sounds once. With counting, you'll notice that we don't start on beat 1. We start after beat 1, like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Basically, we'll be landing on all of the in-between beats, the off beats, and then landing on beat 4 with our middle finger A flat note. Listen one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Just like before, it's really helpful to start adding these notes in one at a time, starting with just the first one. 1 and. 1 and. Add a note. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. The next note. 1 and 2 and 3 and. And then finally, when you're ready, the fourth note on beat 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Let's put these two measures together, measures 3 and 4, with counting. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. One more time. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Go ahead and practice this section until it feels comfortable. Then press play when you're ready to move on. Great, we have half of the song finished. Let's take a look at our first ending. In this song, we have a repeated section with two different endings, which means we'll start at measure 3, go to measure 4, and then take the first ending, the two measures 5 and 6 that are contained within our first ending. After we play that, we would take the repeat back to measure 3 and play measure 3 and 4. Instead of playing the first ending, we would then jump to the second ending and finish the entire tune. Let's jump to the first ending and check out this portion of the song. Before, we ended with our third finger on A flat. which means now, in order to play this G, it's going to be most comfortable to play it with our fourth finger. I'd like to think about it like this. After we play this middle finger A flat, let's move our position up to the second position we talked about at the beginning of the video. This position with our right thumb on D and our left thumb on C. Now we can take care of all of the notes in the right hand and the left hand without having to do any sort of finger stretching. Here's what the next measure sounds like. And here it is with counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This one's got some tricky rests in there. Make sure you don't play any notes on beat 2 or on the and of 3. Let's break this down with just the first two notes, and then we'll add another note when we feel comfortable. 1 and. 1 and. Sometimes it's useful to just say count 2 and experience not playing anything while you say 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Great. Let's add a note. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. One more note. 1 and 2 and 3. Now we're landing right on count 3. 1 and 2 and 3. One last time. 1 and 2 and 3. We'll jump back in on beat 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Finally, we'll add one last eighth note on the and of 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Go ahead and practice this until it feels really comfortable before moving on to the next measure. With our final measure of the first ending, we're going to start on the and of 1, just like we did for measure 4. 1 and. Get comfortable with feeling the first eighth note rest on beat 1. It's really key that we not jump in too early on beat 1. 1 and. 1 and. At this point, I'd like to move back down to our first position so that we can take care of the rest of the notes, like this. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. We'll be finding middle C on the and of 2 there. 1 and 2 and. Let's add one more note on beat 3, D. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. We can grab our final note of this ending with our left thumb, the B. Check it out. 1 and 2 and 3 and. These three notes, instead of all being on offbeats like we've heard before, are going to be our first set of 3 eighth notes all right next to each other. So they'll go by pretty quick, like this. Breaking that down one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Great. Once we're feeling comfortable, we can take the repeat back to measure 3. What's awesome about the first ending is that now that we've moved back to our first position, we're already primed to play measure 3 again, just like we did before. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Great. Now we're ready to tackle the second ending. Even though we're going to play this G with our fourth finger, we can keep our right hand exactly where it is. It's already primed to play the rest of the song. Here's what the first measure of the second ending sounds like. Here it is with counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You'll notice that this is the same rhythm that we used in the first measure of the first ending. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Just like we did before, try counting on beat 2 but not playing anything so that you feel the rest. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Here's another note. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. Let's add another note. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Let's add our final two notes on beat 4 and the end of 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. This brings us to our final measure, maybe the easiest measure of the whole song. We'll play C on beat 1, and then our left hand will move down to grab a low C on beat 3, like this. 1, 2, 3. Here it is tied together with the first measure of the second ending. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3. Practice that until it's smooth, and then try putting the entire song together. Great, now that we have the whole thing learned, let's try putting all of the measures together. I'll play it once with counting, and then I'll try playing it once without counting. If you'd like a real challenge, when you hear the section without counting, try counting along on your own and seeing if you can match up all of your notes with mine. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Here it is one more time without counting. And here it is up to speed. Nice job. That's gold star worthy. Oh, and that's it for this video. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that you can check out more videos like this one. Happy playing!
All I have to do to rescue Princess is jump under this giant fire-breathing dragon! What? Chef, you?
Sorry, our princess is in another castle.
Ah!